Welcome to 33 Dreams of Indy. I'm your host, Robert Earl, and today I'm joined by the pilot of the number 40 Miller Vinatieri Motorsports entry into the USF 2000 presented by Cooper Tires Series, Jack William Miller. Jack, how are you doing today?
I am well.
Fantastic.
And you?
I'm doing real good. Thanks for asking. So on 33 Dreams, we like to tell the stories about drivers that are looking to one day participate in the Indy 500. And you've got a very unique story. If I understand this correctly, you started karting when you were 3 years old?
That is correct. Yes, I started when I was 3.
I've got a number of kids and step-grandkids that at 3 years old, I couldn't even get them to clean up their toy box. So how did you get started at 3? And tell me a little bit about that progression.
I just started out in a little kid cart and then progressed through all the ranks in karting and eventually started testing cars and then racing it the next year when I was 11. And then I started racing when I was 12 and 13.
So 12 and 13, you got into the racing. So and then you've progressed through to the USF 2000. How big of a step has that been to get into the USF 2000 cars with the front wings, the rear wings, the added power?
It wasn't too big of a step up because I did 2 seasons in the F4, which also have front and rear wings and a little bit less horsepower than the USF 2000, but just overall a slower car because of all the extra downforce that the USF car has.
Great move into that series, and you had some success in the F4 series. Is that correct?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
Just
so looking to
struggled at some races.
That's part of why they call it racing, to go into it. I always like to give drivers an opportunity to talk about their sponsors. So go ahead. That way, if I bring it up early in the conversation, if you forget one, we can touch upon a little bit later. But we got to give a shout out to the sponsors. So go ahead and do so.
Yes, my main sponsor this year has been Lumist Oral Healthcare, which is a teeth whitening strip.
Okay.
That anybody can buy or use, and they work really, really well. And so they've been a really good sponsor for us this year.
Fantastic. Anybody else we need to touch on?
I've been sponsored by Bell Helmets and then K1 Race Gear for a long time, and so it's always nice to be on those products and using the best stuff.
Yeah, Bell does a great job, and I see a lot of drivers giving them shout outs, so that's fantastic. We need some teeth whitening strips to put a smile on your face after Portland, but talk to me about flying out to Portland, being all excited, getting ready to get into the car, and then some electrical issues. Is that the case?
Yeah, it was a very tough weekend for the team. Only being able to run in the rain for one session and then missing almost all of every single dry session and going out for a half a lap and the car shutting off. So it was really tough, but we came back pretty strong, and towards the end of the weekend, we showed some really good pace. So hopefully that transitions into Laguna Seca, the next race.
Yeah, I saw that some of your fast laps were what I look for, especially in the USF 2000, the Indy Pro 2000, is after the car is, shall we say, equalized in the middle of the race. Are you able to set your personal fast laps after that? And it sure looked like you were hanging right there with top 10 speeds. And that standpoint of at least watching on the road to Indy.tv and being able to watch the timing charts. So you sure were picking them up and putting them down once you got those problems sorted out. So excited to go to Laguna Seca. Is that have you had an opportunity to drive there before in an F4 car or any other discipline?
No, I haven't been able to drive at Laguna Seca before, but I'm super excited to be on one of the most famous and historical tracks.
It really is something else. How do you prepare for a new track?
I will go to Advanced Motorsports with Darren Manning and do some sim work, and then really watching videos and reading notes from past drivers, and then I'll meet with some of my driving coaches and engineers beforehand and go over and just be totally prepared as much as we can be for going to a new track like how we were for Portland.
Yeah, putting in that homework, and that's absolutely fantastic. And especially at your age, balancing that with schoolwork and then being able to do that homework. Luckily, you do have a couple weeks here to prepare, and you want to make sure you're doing that, but not overhyping as you go into that. Talk to me about a couple of your racing influences. What have been your influences in your career so far, and looking at that? I know you noted Will Power as being one of your racing heroes, and he was able to put the hammer down this weekend. But talk to me about your influences.
Yeah, well, I've been really close with a driver, Gabby Chavez, who races Indy cars. He was with Harding for a while, and then so he's really been the main person. And then some previous people, Alex Tagliani, Steven Simpson, who's a race car driver in the IMSA series. So I've surrounded myself with a lot of really good people who know a lot about racing.
Fantastic. Now, you're in Carmel, Indiana. I'm going to change the subject on you a little bit. NFL kickoff tonight. Your thoughts on Andrew Luck and his retirement, because it got to touch upon that. I'm sure maybe you're not a Colts fan, but tell me about that. I think you would have to be with your co-owner of your team.
Yeah, I'm a Colts fan. I hope that the Colts do well this year and all that goes well to the team, and hopefully Adam Vinatieri has another great year.
Yeah, he's strung together quite a few of them. So anything else that you're looking forward to as you go into Laguna Seca? A lot of preparation, a lot of other things. How do you think that your driving style will fit it in the brief research you've already done?
I'm excited to be on the track. It's always fun going to a new track, and hopefully my driving style fits the track super well. But I think the biggest part about being a good driver is being able to adapt to every track that you go to. So
yeah.
Hopefully it goes well.
Not knowing the weather yet, all those types of things. You do get the 3 test sessions. So that's fantastic. That'll prepare you, and look for you to do some fantastic things as you close out, improve upon those 13th place finishes that you had there. You know, Jack, I really appreciate you taking the time. I would love to catch up with you after Laguna Seca. And then part of what we'd like to do on 33 Dreams is touch base with you, say about once a month, so that you can get your word out, but also see how your off season's progressing and going from there. How's that sound?
Awesome. Sure thing.
Fantastic. Well, look for the number 40 Miller Vinatieri Motorsports entry with up and coming hot shoe Jack William Miller. He'll be doing some great things at Laguna Seca. Jack, I appreciate you taking time out of your preparation, out of your schedule to talk with us here on 33 Dreams of Indy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet.
I'll talk to you guys later.
You bet. Take care.
See ya. Thanks.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video from 33 Dreams of Indy. It would mean the world to me if you would click subscribe so that you can be notified of any new videos that come along.